On the 5th of December, I took the Asics Novablast 5 out for its first run. 25 days later, and we've hit the 100-mile mark. So welcome back to another long-term shoe review, and what a gem this has been. On the 30th of December, I took it out for its run to take it over the 100-mile mark, and it is still going so strong. Feeling good about this one, and I'm excited to let you guys know the updates after 100 miles. As with all 100-mile update videos, we'll be going through the wear and tear, how I've been using it, and then of course if I will continue to use it moving forward. So without further ado, let's dive in. Now, in terms of the wear and tear, you don't want to see anything going on at the 100-mile mark, and I can confirm nothing is happening with this shoe. There are no snags, no frays, no tears. The upper is absolutely wonderful, still plush, still very, very comfortable. It is, of course, a little bit of a shade of mud at the moment because everything is so damn wet and damp and muddy out there at the moment, especially this outsole, which you are about to see now. But overall, the top is looking really good, feeling really good. I was slightly concerned when I did see the lacing system here using the wires at the base. I'm always a little bit skeptical when they're not just using standard lace loops. I don't understand sometimes when companies throw in these things, why not just use the tried and tested standard lace loops there? But they've been really good. I've been able to cinch the shoe down really, really tight. It has not come loose, and so far everything seems to be holding firm. As for the midsole, super bouncy, very nice, very comfortable, very enjoyable indeed. No degradation at all between 0 and 100 miles. You're not going to expect anything like that, and I know for a fact that the Novablasts are meant for durability. I have taken the previous versions, bar version 4, which I didn't really like, well over 300 miles, and some of them up to 400 and 500 miles, and they've just done really well. Visually, there are a few creases here and there, but otherwise, in terms of performance, it's holding up really strong. The outsole is also looking really good, nothing to show there. When I talk about the creases in the midsole, you can see just kind of in these sections here, it is a little bit creased and worn, but honestly, it makes no difference to performance whatsoever. It's only visual, and it makes no difference to the shoe. It is honestly riding so smoothly. The one thing I'll say is that grip has not been an issue for me. I know a lot of people mention this, and I have had experiences with previous Novablasts where I'm running and it feels a bit slick. The solution to that, often people go for the TR version. I'm not sure if this one is going to have a TR version, and if it does, when it's going to be out. A lot of you guys I know went for the Novablast 4TR and the 3TR and had good success there. The TR just stands for the trail version, and basically it's really, really small 1 or 2 mil lugs on the bottom of the shoe. It's nothing, and you will use it on the roads. I've never bought a pair of those. I've always had the standard road option, and as I said, in previous versions, a couple have been a bit sketchy in the wet, others haven't, and this one, for me, I've run in a lot of wet conditions so far out there on the trails, and I've had no grip issues whatsoever. So for me, absolutely fine. Now let's move on to the interesting bit. How have I been using this shoe? Well, I have literally used this shoe for anything and everything you can imagine. There are a couple of runs that I'm going to highlight here, but I have honestly used it for easy runs, steady runs or moderate runs, workouts, long run workouts, everything. Tempo has been thrown in there in various places. There's nothing that this shoe can't do. Now, I will say straight off the bat, with the stack height in the shoe, you are not going to get the fastest turnover, and there are better shoes for that top end work. I've done a few runs with strides on and some uphill strides, and like all shoes with higher stack, I kind of found it in the Mizuno Neo Vista. You don't get the faster turnover like you would in, let's say, the Brooks Hyperion 2, which is my speed day shoe that I like to use for my shorter, faster intervals. You won't get that quick, snappy turnover. It just doesn't happen in these bigger, bouncier shoes. However, that doesn't stop it from being a very fast shoe, and bar the strides, bar the top end work, I've been super impressed with how I can pick up the pace in this thing really, really well. The first run I want to highlight is the very first run I did in this shoe. I literally took it out of the box and took it for a workout, did a 6-minute tempo, and then rolled into some intervals. The reason I did that, because in the past I have always used a Novablast for everything, and so for me a good gauge of the shoe, a good update gauge, is how does it perform across the board with workouts. So the 1 and 2 I did everything in, all the workouts, even when the 2 went a little bit more kind of daily trainery and a little bit less fast because they had a 2 mil of stack in the forefoot, so you didn't quite get that faster turnover that you did in version 1. 3, I did everything in. 4, I wasn't a fan and I didn't really test it in that. But the 5, again, I just thought, I've done it in the previous versions, we've got to do it in this one. It worked really well in the reps. The paces, I was so surprised at. Some of the fastest paces I've hit all year. And again, I know I can appreciate that that's kind of fitness coming off the back of marathon training, moving into a new block. But often, sometimes you can kind of find a shoe works with you or against you. And this one definitely worked with you. That's the first run I want to highlight. Recently, I also did a long run with some pickups in there, 5 by 3 minute pickups. And again, they were all uphill and I was so shocked at the paces I was able to hit, some of the fastest paces. The video is on the channel. You can see how that one went. It was absolutely amazing. Paces came out in and around the 530s to 550s per mile, but the effort paces, kind of grade adjusted paces, were more so down in the 520s per mile. And again, it's just really good to be able to go from that kind of easy, steady running right the way through the gears, all the way up to those faster paces without worrying if the shoe is going to feel good when you pick them up or not. I can confirm this thing feels really, really good. I will say though, naturally the sweet spot for this shoe is the lower end work. So you're talking the easy, the steady, and up to the marathon pace work. I would say for a lot of daily trainers, easy and steady work is its thing, and then marathon pace is a push. You can do it, but it's not quite as good. I will say this one very much incorporates marathon pace. I feel like you can really get all the way up there without even batting an eyelid that you're wearing this shoe. It then gets beyond there, that although you can hit those paces and although it does feel really good, you could then start to think, well, I could have better shoes for the job. But honestly, this covers such a wide range of bases at the bottom of the zones that you really just don't need anything else. So will I continue to use this shoe moving forwards? Absolutely. You know it. This is one of those shoes that I think I'll be taking a long way and see how many miles I can get in. Right now though, I have a few shoes in my rotation that I just want to push the mileage up on a little bit, get a few more miles in. So I might just park this for literally a week, but then pick it back up again just to get a few more runs in a few more shoes. I've got some other shoes in for testing, so I need to test out those. But after that, these will definitely be getting way more use. What I've been really impressed with, as I said, is the versatility is back in this version, where I found in previous versions, especially the 3, that completely changed, went very lightweight, and I kind of felt like that leaned very much more towards the faster work, and that was very impressive. It kind of almost lost that base end, easier, moderate stuff, and you felt like you could lace that one up and go completely marathon pace and above. And I did a lot of work like that, but then the 4 completely reverted back and it just wasn't enjoyable at all. That foam, they completely nerfed it. I'm glad they listened to the feedback because they brought this one back to life. Now, a lot of you guys know that I'm a massive fan of the Noosa Tri 16, and I have actually had a few questions over some of the videos about comparisons. Would you choose one or the other? Could you use them both together, or do they kind of cancel each other out? So I will just answer that very quickly as well. I do feel like they partner really well. I wouldn't use one or the other. Yes, you can use them for the same thing, and I feel like I would definitely use this one more so for those easy and moderate and marathon pace efforts, and I definitely use this one for more of the top end efforts. They definitely cross over, there's no doubt about it. This one is lighter, but it's more aggressive. Look at that rocker at the end of this shoe. I feel like the foam is slightly firmer in this shoe, so you definitely get a much more snappier ride. When I'm talking about doing strides and top end intervals in a shoe, this is definitely a type of shoe that you would want over this, which is why I would say don't look to try and have one or the other. If you have a choice, these are definitely shoes you could pair together, and you could use this for the majority of your work and then lace this one up for your intervals. And I'd say that generally applies across the board. You can use this for absolutely everything, and I love to use it for absolutely everything, but don't see it as if there is a better shoe that's lighter and faster and more nimble that you should just keep with this one. If you have the option and you can build a bit of a rotation, do consider having something lighter and snappier in there. I do feel it's better for quicker turnover, better mechanics. You're getting more of a snappier feel when you're running in lighter and faster shoes. But honestly, as I said, if you are for the moment in that kind of base phase looking for a shoe that will just cover all things, this is just absolutely stupendous. So there we go, guys, absolutely fantastic, great update on this shoe, and brilliant to get it to 100 miles so quickly. 25 days, I think that's a record for a shoe this year. Nothing has got there quicker, and I'm sure nothing will get to 200 quicker than these as well. I'd love to hear about your experience in the Novablast 5. How are you enjoying them or not enjoying them? Have you tried them and didn't like them, or are you trying them and absolutely loving them? Do let me know down in the comments. It'd be great to hear how you're getting on with them down there. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, sharing it with your friends, and of course subscribing to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.